Why does the carnivore diet work so well for so many people and almost immediately for a lot? When anomalies become the normal, there's more anomalies that are, resolving health issues by choosing the carnivore diet than there are people. It's not just a one-off anymore. It's undeniable, and you can't my truth. I have reversed my health. I'm feeling amazing, great every day. And why? What is it? Because meat's so good? Probably. Is it because, when we're choosing this way, it's some like ancient secret? Perhaps. But I'm here to tell you that, I think there's a lot of things that we do when we choose the carnivore way. And this video is for people to have some ammunition against all the naysayers and all the people and in your family, friends, and significant others that have a problem with this. I'm gonna throw some food for thought at you today, and we're gonna question something. And I really want you to do your own research about this. If this strikes a nerve or hits something, perfect. Play this for somebody that doesn't believe you or that thinks you're crazy, because this is a lot of it is based on some science and some facts that are out there that are very subjective and very argued, especially with the powers that be. Like always, this is Anthony Stewart. This is Food for Thought, and we are questioning everything they've ever said. And today they say that this is very safe. The FDA says it's not a concern, but I'm going to show you I'm going to explain to you some logic behind why it may be one of the biggest reasons why carnivore will work for you, and why maybe it's a good idea to try this. And like I say, as always, it might not even be what we're doing, it's what we're not doing that is showing us the magic right away. Today I'm going to talk about this chemical, and every morning I wake up and I go through my emails and stuff, and I got a newsletter, but this is stuff I already knew, but I figured I should share it because, for people who don't think that this is real, we know processed foods are bad. Why? Why all of a sudden is there some issues, and we'll get into it today. And today we're going to talk about glyphosate. That's one thing in modern day processed food that is everywhere. And it was first introduced in 1974 under the brand name Roundup. And since then, over 3.5 billion pounds of it have been sprayed on our food. The company that created it is Monsanto. Now it's owned by Bayer. And they also introduced a patent genetically modified crops called Roundup Ready, which is resistant to glyphosate. This allowed us to produce vast amounts of cheap processed food while blanketing farmland with chemicals that kill everything in sight besides the crop. Glyphosate isn't only on GMO corn, wheat, and soy. It's also sprayed directly onto wheat and oats before harvest in a process known as pre-harvest crop desiccation. It kills the crop, drying it out for more quickly and evenly harvest time. Isn't it funny how they tell us to eat 6 to 11 servings of grains and fiber every day? And where do you think, what do you think that mostly is? Look at the food pyramid, and it's all cereals. So, it's crazy. The widespread use of glyphosate means it's now found in almost all processed foods, especially those containing wheat, corn, oat, and soy. The consequence is that between 1993 and 2016, glyphosate levels in humans have increased 1,208%. So, all the people that are saying bullshit, do your own research into this. If I'm hitting a nerve right now, good, because you need to know this. Now, Roundup exposure has been associated with the increase of Parkinson's, death of neurons, and the implications involving an elevated risk of autism. And if you want to get into a deep dive, there's a Dr. Stephanie Seneff. She's focused her life on this glyphosate stuff. And there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I can explain to you why glyphosate tricks your body into thinking it's glycine, and it disrupts an amino acid problem. And I learned that from Dr. Robert Lustig in the book Metabolical. And he's a pediatric endocrinologist, and he's into this stuff. But this is just a simple thing. The World Health Organization, check this out, this irony. The WHO categorized glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. And then we're going to look at how cancer rates have increased since it was introduced in 1974. This is just data. This is just a statistical and a forecast of how the cancer is going to go. Is it correlation does not mean causation. We know that. But it's striking how this is happening. But haven't they said it's safe? Well, yes, they have. And this comes from a company, follow the money, with a net profit of $4.3 billion in 2022. They've also captured the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency long ago. In 2020, they reached a settlement of 100,000 people, then pending Roundup lawsuits for nearly $10 billion. And have since said it will remove glyphosate from consumer product. But what has it happened? It means you won't be able to purchase a bottle of Roundup in your garden, but it will still be allowed in 99%. It will still be allowed where 99% of it is sprayed on our food. Even if glyphosate did get banned entirely tomorrow, the food and agricultural industries would just move over to one of the hundreds of other herbicides and pesticides, on the market. Here's a couple. So there's been some. There's a scientist. His name's Dr. Zach Bush. He's really into soil development and soil conservation, and he's saying that there's these pathways that not only the NPK fertilizer are disrupting, but the glyphosate runs off into our water supply. So it's a very big deal. And if you don't think it is, all the people that are eating their cereal in the morning understand something. They know this. They tell you to go plant-based. They tell you to eat 6 to 11 servings of grains and fiber a day. It is a vicious cycle, and they know this. So when you're choosing a carnivore approach, a carnivore diet, what's ultimately happening is we're not even going to get into why you should, but this is why you shouldn't eat processed foods. Everywhere, in the grocery store aisle, in the middle, if it's in a package, if it says soy, wheat, corn, anything, you can assume that glyphosate has been contaminating it, and not to mention in our water, because all the farmland gets this Roundup Ready stuff, and all of a sudden it's in our water supply. It's now in the cycle of water in our rain. This is just some logic bombs out there. So anybody who's saying, well, you're going carnivore, you shouldn't, it's gonna kill you. Well, look at what happens, all right? Our cancer rates are going up. Statistically speaking, 1 out of every 3 of us is going to die of a heart attack anyway. That is just scientific data. So going carnivore, eliminating all these chemicals, and yes, how do you stop glyphosate? Filter your water. Eat seasonal, local. Grass-fed if you can, because the beautiful thing about ruminant animals is they have the 4-chamber stomach. They have the ruminant. They process this differently, and it's. I would just assuming it's a little bit less, because judging by everybody who's getting these results on a carnivore diet, I think a lot of it has to do about the stuff that they're not putting in their body, and the body's getting a chance to do things that it's supposed to be naturally doing. And it's not getting disrupted. So what do? Eat as close to grass-fed, grass-finished beef as you can. I know there's some complications with budget, but meat is good. And it doesn't have this stuff in these amounts that your Cheerios and your granola bars and all your bread that's in the supermarket has. So seasonal, local. Do I think vegetables are all innately bad? I don't think so, but I think we're a far cry from what they used to be back in the 50s, 40s, and now this whole scheme is just increasing our sickness. So stop eating processed foods. They're the enemy. Anybody that tells you the carnivore diet is going to kill you, well, you can show them this video. Please subscribe to this, share this with somebody that needs to know this. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm just trying to help get this awareness out there that, things aren't what they seem. Stay strong.